morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a great week, and I'm expecting it to be an even better week. Why? Because everything that's going on as far as weather goes, it is hot. People don't want to go outside, and with that being said, people are probably going to be by their phones. You got to find the silver lining in everything, and that's why we do these on Monday morning, so we can start the day with the silver lining. So, silver lining for the week, yes, it's hot. Yes, your AC is blaring. Yes, your clients will probably be answering. So get ready for a great week. So taking a look at it, what we're going to be talking about today is what you need to ask your clients and how to ask your clients in fact finding. Everybody does it a little different. There's a lot of things out there. You can call them fact finding sheets, investigation sheets, gathering sheets, whatever kind of way you gather your clients' information. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start out with the Shane Gibson quote, always be closing. That doesn't mean you're always closing the deal, but it does mean that you need to always closing on the next step in the process. As we talked about for the last few weeks, clients want to know what's going on, especially when it comes to fact finding. So we're going to go through fact finding, and then we're going to tell our clients what we're doing, kind of maybe even why we're looking at it. And what you're doing is closing throughout your whole sales process. So we'll jump into that. So happy Motivation Monday to everybody there. Now, if this is your first Motivation Monday, taking a look, there are a few people on the call that this is your first one. This is kind of what we're going to be going through. We're going to go through a tip of the week. We're going to take a look at what trends are going on. We'll take a look at who our sales leaders are. And of course, in the end, we'll end with the sales technique. Now, the point of these meetings isn't to talk for hours and isn't to bore everybody. They are literally 15 to 30-minute power-packed meetings where you can walk away with 1 or 2 tips. If you've been in sales for a while, you know if you can get 1 sales tip or even 2 in 15 minutes, well worth your time. So let's jump into the tip of the week. This is actually for the previous week. It was talking about one of our carriers here, the IHC group. Really good carrier to take a look at, even though they did literally, after we got done talking about this, they sent out something saying we are no longer in Minnesota. I'm like, oh, now I look like a moron. But hey, it's Mondays. Could be worse, right? They are still a really good short-term carrier if you do and are licensed in the state of California. It's one of the very few ones that are out there. They used to be in Minnesota, not so much anymore. So the other reason why some people do sell the IHC short-term is just because it is a bare bones short-term that is inexpensive. So keep that in mind. There is a time and a place for everything. If your client is literally looking for the most bare bones short-term there is out there, this is what you got. So let's take a look at our next one, our tip of the week, which did get emailed out there by our marketing. And if you are not getting these, you need to take a look at your email box to make sure the AHCP marketing is getting out there. But with the Nat Gen, we are big fans of them here at AHCP. We sell a ton of their product. It's saying for qualifying Nat Gen accident plans sold to new customers between June 1st and October 31st, they are going to pay you a monthly cash bonus. Okay, there are some stipulations. Find that email to talk more about them. Just for sake of it, I didn't put them in here. So any Nat Gen plans that qualify for the bonus, they will be the plan enhancer, which we sell a ton of, the accident fixed benefit. Shockingly enough, we don't sell a ton of that. If you sell in Florida, take a look at the plan or the accident fixed benefit. That one there, it is literally $9.90 in the state of Florida. The plan enhancer or TrioMed multi-coverage options as well. What they mean is the plan enhancer with that SIP or CHS rider and the TrioMed on there as well. 40 policies in a month is going to get you $20 per app. Per app, that's at least $800 extra bonus in a month for what? Doing your job. Easy one to do. Less than 10 policies a month, that's going to be $5 per app. So no matter what, it looks like you could try to walk away there with about $50 extra in your pocket. Really good thing to do. Start selling it. You know, the summer months are when people use it, funny enough. So we sell a lot of these during the winter, the fall and winter. People use them once in a while. Hey, I slipped on the ice, things happen. Summer months are when people use them the most. Why? Because people are rambunctious. They want to get out and do stuff. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at what our sales trends are here after we got through that tip of the week. So decrease in short term. It is summer. I'm not too shocked by any of this stuff here. Oop, let me jump back. Sorry about that. Decrease in short-term medical, mainly leading with NatGen and UHC. Increase in fixed benefit. We are just tossing things up left and right here. Fixed benefit there with VBA. Decrease in accident sales, which we should not be seeing for till October because of this bonus. Should be easy because we sell so much NatGen there with the accident. I have talked a bit about VBA. I'm a big fan of VBA, so take a look at that one. Their AME is pretty inexpensive. Plus, it has a low deductible if you're talking about the lower end plans. Again, so if you're going to sell the IHC short term, because someone wants a cheap bare bones short term, sell them the VBA accident plan because it's a cheap bare bones AME. Increase in critical illness leading with CBL, so our good friends there at CBL, and then an increase in dental, NatGen PPO leading that, and of course, golden rule. So overall, not a bad time. We kind of get into the summer thing. Traditionally, we do slow down in July a little bit, not us as a company, but just us as an industry. So don't do that because you're not gonna like your July paycheck, so keep it up. Why do people slow down? Because it's called the cabin. Okay, taking a look at who our sales shoutouts are here today. For short-term medical, congratulations, Wendy Larson taking in gold, Andrew Orlikoff there taking on silver, and Jacob Gordon taking on bronze. Our limited benefit sales shoutouts here this morning would be Katya, shocking on that one. Robert Swander taking silver, Wendy Larson taking third. Come on, Wendy, take down Katya. No offense, Katya, but you know what? I kind of have fun with it. So we plowed through all of that, and let's jump right into how do you do effective fact finding? Okay, I call it fact finding. Some people call it investigation. I really like this picture because it's like you're kind of touching the client. So we're going to talk about how do you do effective fact finding investigation. Okay, so enough, we talked about in the past the sales process, right? In every sales process, I do this all the time to people. I ask them, what have you sold in the past? And they say, I've sold cars, I've sold refrigerators. Last week was somebody who did books door to door. And I'm like, okay, what do you do? And we walk through the process. So of course they introduce themselves. They say, I ask them some questions and I present them my book. And then, I try to close them. I'm like, every sales process out there has that. We talked last week about the introduction and kind of what is in an introduction there. So in the introduction, of course, there's the who you are, the why you're calling, the with them, that kind of a process. Again, if you haven't heard the ideas behind it, please go to the training library, go look it up and listen. Something kind of like, hey, John, thanks for taking my call. I'm the health insurance agent here. I'm giving you a call because you requested to be contacted. What I do is I save my clients about 15% on their health insurance. Does that sound good to you? Great, it does. Well, the next thing is if they are ready to go, we jump right into the fact finding, right? The investigation. Personally, just to let you know, overall, what is it? It's where you're gonna ask your clients usage questions. One thing that I do, and what I recommend everybody does, is let them know what you're going to be doing. So humans have this weird tick in their brain that if something happens that is the unknown, they stop at the first instance of it, and that's where their mind sets, right? So if you start there and you go, hey, so how often do you go to the doctor? What are you gonna do for your medical bills? What kind of thing do you have? They're saying, I get it, but why? We're always gonna be that 5-year-old. So if anybody out there has that 5-year-old that sits there and goes, why? Think about that as your client, right? So this is what I do. I go, well, John, what I do here is I'm gonna ask you a few questions about your health insurance needs. Together, we're actually going to customize a plan that will best suit your needs, and then we can make any changes. We can customize it as much as you want. But as long as you like what you hear today, we're going to go ahead and get you applied for that, okay? What did I say? Hey, I'm going to do some fact finding. I'm going to investigate what your needs are. And you know what? I'm going to put together a few different carriers for you and present it to you. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm a broker. I'm free to work with. We can remove anything that you want. But if you like it, then we're going to go ahead and get you applied. Bam, the close. I literally said, this is what I'm going to do. So we ended with, guess what? I'm going to ask you questions. We're going to do some fact finding. I'm going to figure out your problem. And guess what? I'm going to solve it. And I like to say today, because I'm kind of an impatient person. So to accurately solve their problem, what we do, we are solution sellers, right? We need to do some fact finding. Here's one thing right off the bat. People go, I am the best at presenting a plan. You want me to present that NatGen short-term medical, $5,000, 100%? I will wow you. I'm like, great. Is that what your client needed? First off, this is where you should be spending most of your time. The sales process, introduction. We'll say it's 10% of your sales process. Presenting the plan really should be about 10%, and then at the end the close should be less, but we'll say 10%. That means 70% of your time should be spent on fact finding, right? Keep in mind, if you're doing the best plan presentation possible and your client doesn't need it, you are doing actually the worst plan presentation possible because they don't care, okay? So this is the most important part. This is where you're going to figure out what products that they need. This is also where you're going to figure out what supplements. Again, if you don't sell a lot of supplements, you're kind of doing your client a disservice because that's what they're actually going to use a lot of, right? Yeah, they're going to use the short term there to go to the doctor, right? So they're going to care about the big stuff. They're going to care about the doctor visits. But that big stuff too, if they get injured, is that accident plan, is that critical illness plan. They care about the ER, right? They care about those kinds of things. So this is where we're going to figure out the right product. Keep in mind, first off, you want the client to do most of the talking. So let's loop this back a little bit. Think about a long, long time ago when you were dating. And if you still are, this might be a piece of advice for you. So you're sitting there dating, right? And you go out and you're meeting up with the person, and all you're doing is you're talking about how great you are, how great you are, how great you are, and you don't get asked back for a second. You're like, why not? I'm a pretty awesome person. Because what's going on in the other person's mind? Why will they not shut up? I don't care. They haven't asked me anything about me. Fact finding is dating, right? You should be sitting there asking questions. So if you've been on a date too and you got to ask back and you just keep asking questions about the person, asking, and you get asked back on a second date, why? What's going through the other person's mind? They're such a great listener. Keep in mind the client needs to do most of the talking here, and you need to ask your questions open-ended, right? Two types of questions in sales, closed and open. Closed would be when I want a yes, no response, and that's what you're going to do when you present the plan, and we'll talk about that probably next week. Open-ended is when you do fact finding, because I want you to tell me stories. I want to have something where I can relay it back. Okay, there will be 5 things I care about in my fact finding. So just to let you know right away, and we'll jump into each of them. So it's first going to be your current insurance situation. Second one's reason for you calling me. I give it the why. Your plan usage, the budget. Obviously, I do care about money. And the last one would be the start date, right? So why do you need to care, and why do you even care about their current insurance situation? And these need to be on your gathering sheets. Are they currently insured or not? Well, obviously for currently insured, matters a ton for Major Med. Can they get insurance pretty easy? Did they select Cobra? What's their current insurance situation? And I literally just asked someone, so, what's your current insurance situation? I shut up because I want them to talk. And so it could be something like, oh yeah, I'm currently insured through my husband's work, and I still don't talk then. Because I want to hear, what is going on with that. Okay. Well, I'm actually insured through my husband's work, and it's so expensive, and here's why, blah, blah, blah. Now, during every part and everything they tell me, all 5 of these reasons, things that I'm going through, I'm going to do a technique I like to call hear it out, feed it back, and then I clarify, right? And so I'm like, okay, so you're currently insured through your husband's work, and it's just really expensive. And they're going to say, oh, yeah. Right? So I heard it out, which is me shutting up and listening. I fed it back, and then I'm going to clarify. So I need to get them to agree with me. So kind of like the yep, that kind of a thing. Hear it out, feed it back, and clarify. You're going to feel like you're a parrot. You're actually going to feel really stupid. Funny enough, on the other end, your clients aren't going to care. They're going to think that, oh, wow, he's such a great listener. Again, I'm dating them all of a sudden, right? Should be back to dating. So you hear it out, you feed it back, and clarify. The second is the reason why I call. I usually like to kind of bring out the pain points here. So I go, I know you've probably been looking around a bit online. So what about those plans that you found have you not liked? Just so I don't make that same mistake. Look how nice and kind I mean about that. What about those other plans that you've seen have you not liked? That should be where you put the emphasis. Why? Because I want to bring out the pain about those other plans. Yeah, so your husband's plan is expensive. Sure, that might be the reason why you're calling, but what out there have you seen, have you not liked, just so I don't make that same mistake? And that's going to give them the reason why they called. Well, I was actually on UHC's website, and I found this one plan. It had a $5,000 deductible, 80/20 co-insurance, had beautiful co-pays, and I'm just not sure it's the right plan for me. Oh, awesome. They're confused. Great. Okay, so you're out there, you're looking at the UHC website, just some of those weird, confusing questions, and you want to make sure you get the best plan possible, right? Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Heard it out, fed it back, and clarified. So keep out that you want to bring out the pain point. So let's jump into the one that we actually talked about. So the current insurance situation, that should be pretty quick. Reason for the call, you want to get the why. A lot of people actually skip over that, funny enough. They jump right into usage. I love it when I hear that because I'm like, cool. Why are they talking to you? Well, their plan's too expensive. No, why are they talking to you? People tried to buy this before. The most powerful thing you can do is find out the why. yeah, you're going to try to figure out the pain point. That's the whole point behind the usage, but find out the why, and that's actually going to make your whole sales process a little stronger, because you can kind of giggle about it and later on, like, like that UHC plan. I know you're looking at it, but honestly, I'm a broker in your state. I have about 5 different short-term carriers, and surprisingly, that actually probably wasn't the best one for you. So I'm really glad you called. Luckily, my services are free. So okay, so let's get into the usage. So when people are talking about the plan usage, there's usually a few things I like to talk about. The first one is going to be, is anybody on prescriptions? What is that going to tell you, right? And you say, how many times, anybody who's going to be on this insurance package, do they take any prescriptions? Keep in mind, I'm not looking for anything like cold or flu. Why do I care about the prescriptions? Because that's actually going to tell me what do they have, right? Anything in the past that they probably have, if they have that high blood pressure, hopefully by now you're actually starting to learn your prescriptions, so you can figure it out right away, and you can just write down what they have, like, I'm on metformin. Okay, more likely diabetes. Just things like that as you're going through. The prescription question is actually going to be where you're going to find out about their pre-existing conditions, and if not, if you stop them, they're like, I'm not on any. Okay, I gotcha. So nobody has any pre-existing conditions on this plan, right? Nothing in the past 5 years have you guys gone to the hospital for, as far as that goes. Right? This is when you're looking for their usage. A second one is going to be, okay, how many times in the past 10 years, or how many times a year on average, do you guys go to the doctor? And then just looking for a number on those. So you can kind of start digging them out. Why? Because if you find out I go to the doctor 10 times, I better have an awesome copay plan, add them on that fixed benefit, because they are going to use it. Right? So you start putting your plans together. So for prescriptions, maybe having to take a look at another prescription plan, like maybe Ally RX, or maybe looking at a short term that provides some benefit. All of a sudden I jump into the doctor visits. I probably need to get them a fixed benefit. Oh wait, bam, I just found out that they have high cholesterol and they go in for that. Okay, good, you're starting to get that. The last one that I find very powerful, and keep in mind, what a lot of people do, and I'm not a big fan of, is they go through and they have this checklist, right? And this is a checklist, I'm not saying it's not, but they have a checklist as they are going through for this. And to your client, all of a sudden they're feeling like they're a number, not a person. This way I get to hear stories from them. Why? Because when I go through and I present my plan, which I will show you guys next week, when I present my plan, mine's a little more, of a story. That's why people buy from me. They love it. They love it. That's why people buy, because I'm able to tie things back from these questions here. Literally the plan usage questions. I go, okay, so how many times in the past 10 years have you had over $1,000 in medical bills? This is when I'm going to find out about little Jimmy breaking his leg when he goes skiing, or about Mark when he was painting the house and he fell down and broke his hip off of a ladder, or Susan when she was in the garden and all of a sudden one of the garden pieces of equipment blew up. I mean, just small things like that. Well, they're not small in their life, but you know what I mean. $1,000 in medical bills in the past 10 years, and all of a sudden people will start telling me. Okay. And then anything scheduled in the future, because people may not understand. This is the area where I'm trying to figure out also what ancillary, what supplement products my consumer are going to get. If you're in the past 10 years, they've never used insurance, you might be confident to go a little higher deductible, add that trio med in, make sure that they get that dental, and add in that critical illness. Anything scheduled in the future. So these questions need to be asked, and you don't have to go through and just pelt them with these awkward medical questions, because that's actually where people get a guard, right? So what I do, just try to talk about it, let them tell you stories. You find out a little thing, ask them just, okay, so you guys went to twice, you had over $1,000 medical bills. What was that for? Make it conversational. Please make it conversational. Also, hear it out, feed it back, and clarify. Those are the important things. Now, here's one of the things I do in my head. So I'm going through here and I try to figure out, first off, do they have money or don't they, right? So I'm going to go through, my next question is literally going to be, okay, so what would be a realistic budget? And then you're going to get that little fight, like, I don't want to tell you, I don't know, I'm not sure, what do you have? And all the insurance in the world, honestly, customer, all the insurance in the world is not going to matter if you can't afford it. My job here is just to make sure you figure out what's affordable for you, and I can stay within that range. Okay, so I go through my head and I go, do they have money or do they not, right? And that's going to kind of determine maybe which short term I'm going to go. As long as they are healthy, look at that, have money and they're healthy. They don't have money and they're healthy. As long as they're healthy, I'm confident I can do that short term. I can add a fixed benefit, or maybe on the no money side, just lead with that fixed benefit and of course add the supplements. Now, if they have money and they are sick, I will always do what's right by my customer, right? So I will make sure that they get what they need. So I might do the Affordable Care Act, especially if they are sick and don't have money. Again, the concept of sick, I'm talking more about like a critical illness, something a little more serious. So you kind of got to break it through. You can see I can kind of adjust my carriers as I need, as I see fit. Like I'm a big fan of UHC's fixed benefit product there. I also like Manhattan Life, don't get me wrong, but that's where I'm going to go for someone who doesn't have as much money. Of course, state dependent on that one. IHC short term, really, if they don't have money, I'm probably going to do that IHC short term to make sure they walk away with something that's great. So I had to go through this little quadrant in my head. I wish I could say it's in my head. It's on my worksheet that I fill out as I'm talking to my customers, and I kind of circle what quadrant they're in. Because sometimes it might be best for them to go to healthcare.gov and walk through that. Okay, so let's jump back to this. So plan usage 2, you're going through that, you circle it, and then you say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should really lead with a more of a short term, or maybe I should lead with a fixed benefit. Why would I do each of these, right? So keep in mind as you're going through and you find out that, you know, maybe they don't go to the doctor a lot, or maybe they want to go to the doctor a lot, but they're not worried about the big what if. They're that young, healthy person, super confident. That's a fixed benefit client to me. Why? Because they're worried about everyday expenses. They want access to a doctor. They're looking for a long-term solution, because keep in mind short terms, 3x4s, right? Even if they weren't that, if it's 12 months, it's done. Funny enough, fixed benefit plans have higher retention than short term. Why? Well, short term's term, that's a given one. And a lot of times with fixed benefits, people, if they use it, actually like it. So they keep it. They can cover multiple people, more people with a smaller budget, and if they haven't had a lot of years over $1,000, right? Again, they're not on a ton of prescriptions. Well, with short term, if they're worried about the big what if they're not very well educated with insurance, keep in mind your fixed benefit customers have to have an idea about how insurance works. They do have that chronic condition, you know, like, oh, usually major med on that one, or they're worried about them. So maybe their mom has a chronic condition. We can work with that. And they've had a lot of years over $1,000. So kind of go through that quadrant, and then I figure out which one I want to lead with. Now with budget, you know, I usually try to say it nice. You know, I can get you the best health insurance package in the whole world, but if I haven't kept it affordable, I really haven't helped you, right? And kind of get them to chuckle. Okay, so what's an affordable monthly budget range I need to stick within? And if I have to fight that one, I won't move forward personally. I know that sounds really odd. People say, you know, I move forward all the time without a budget. I'm like, yeah, but I have ridiculously high retention. The reason why, because I don't move forward without a budget, because I need to keep it affordable. Because if they are only price shopping, when you come up to somebody who has a cheaper price, they're going to ditch you. Great, you wasted hours of your life. And you know, if I have to fight the customer a little bit, I totally will. And then what day you're looking for their insurance to start? And then obviously with all these, I hear it out, I feed it back, and I clarify. Now, one of the biggest things I like to do, and at the end of it, is I do a huge summarization statement. I like to put everything back together. They told me, I told you this whole time, I am hearing it out. I'm feeding it back, I'm clarifying, I'm trying to get at least 2 stories out of them. And at the end, this is the most powerful part of fact finding, in my opinion. As you go, great. So you know, before we get into all those insurance options, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you, just that I heard everything right. So you're looking for insurance today because you're on UHC's website. It got really confusing, right? Oh yeah, right, okay. So to me, it sounds like you're looking for a plan that, and then I fixed the pain point. I kind of set up, you know, a plan that's going to help you make sure you can go to the doctor, because, you know, little Timmy seems to go to the doctor quite a bit there. And anything that's going to cover you guys for when you have that accident, you know, like when Mark fell off the ladder. That's going to be actually starting on the 15th, and we're going to keep it below your budget of about $550. Is that right? And I make sure to get a yes. They're like, okay, no, okay, I got the okay. I feel like I'm missing something. Is there something that I'm missing before I move forward? I just want to make sure I have everything together. I'm summarizing everything that they told me. A, they're going to think, dang, Dan is such a great listener. Second, they're going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. You missed that point where I'm on this high blood pressure med, and I want to make sure that gets paid for. I'm okay with that. I want to get all that wrapped up, and I want them to feel comfortable. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go through the plan options that I have here for you. If I have to make any adjustments, I absolutely can, but as long as you like what you're here today, we're just going to go ahead and get that application applied for. Again, and I told them exactly what I'm going to do. That is kind of one of the powerhouses with this. We do have a resources section that does have a gathering sheet there at ahcpsales.com if you'd like to take a look at that. But if you do have any questions about anything that I covered or want to hear any more about it, you can always email me there at training@ahcpsales.com. Now, if you're interested in getting contracted with the carrier that we went over today, because we did hit IHC, and apparently I hit it a few times there because a few questions popped up about it, you can always contact agency services at 877-228-8773. They are who I go through for all my contracting questions because that is literally their job on it. And then we'll end here with a pretty good one. So if you were born to win, you were born to win. But to be a winner, you must plan to win. Prepare to win and expect to win. We are working on that planning and expecting, telling them at the beginning, we're going to get them applied and that we are going to ask some questions so we can be prepared to win. Again, if you need anything, feel free to email there, training@ahcpsales.com. If not, everybody, have a great Monday.